You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to talk to you and discuss UFC London from this past weekend. Got a little bit of boxing. There was some boxing this morning. It is Tuesday. Anaya Inoue just proclaiming his dominance over all of the lighter weight classes in the boxing world. But we got a little bit, we have a full UFC card. There's a lot of fights on Saturday. They had to even move a fight up to the main card because shit was taking too long. But my name is Matt McSweeney. Like I said, this is the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast brought to you by the Hot Take Hot Box. I am joined by Ty Capone. Ty, how are you feeling today on this glorious Tuesday afternoon? It is not that nice up here. How is it down there in Pete's?
It's pretty nice. It's just, hot as always, 90s, and it's too hot. I need some seasonal action, but
well, listen, it was a kind of, I don't know how to describe, not boring necessarily, but some of these fights really did put you in a snooze fest. That being the UFC London card from this past weekend. We're going to get right into it. I can't believe there's 15 fights. Like that's very rare that they do that many. And then some weekends you get 9 and you have like 16 video packages in between each fight, and you're like, "Oh my god, like this weekend, you didn't even have any time to go get a drink or something. You were coming back, and they were already walking the next dude out. You're like, whoa. What?
They were churning them out quick. I was like, whoa, hold on. Like, they were playing no games, so that was kind of funny.
And, these first couple ones, they went pretty quick, so they could have used these earlier on in the night to kind of move things along. But Tom Aspinall took care of business very early on against Marcin Tybura. Unrelated, and I'm just going to say this because this is exactly my thought before the fight started. Why is Mark Goddard doing this? They're doing this fight. Like, isn't there a little bit of a conflict of interest there?
I guess not.
Just a tiny bit, though. Like, it didn't really come into play because Tybura got absolutely sparked. But I don't know. I just when I first saw it, I'm like, well, he's gonna be like, fight back, Tybura, fight back. He got right in there, but it wasn't a bad stoppage because Tybura got smoked immediately. Aspinall. Moving, he's just head and shoulders above that guy, and we knew that going into this. It was just kind of, how was this going to go? I thought Aspinall might have took a little bit longer to wade his way into this battle, but there was really no sort of rust or buffer period. It was a minute 13. It was a right hand, put him down, and then I think he hit him on the way down, and it was just. It was curtains very early on here for Marcin Tybura. I guess I'll ask you, what did you think? Really, there's not much to think other than Aspinall domination.
Yeah, easy work. He looked quick. He looked like what everybody wanted him to look like. I guess he's probably next up, right? I don't know if he gets Pavlovich or he gets the winner of John and Stipe. I think that should be probably Pavlovich who's next.
I agree.
It sucks, but Tom, did lose a whole year on his, rise to the title shot. So, but after that, the UFC's the heavyweight division is kind of in a decent little resurgence. I feel like. You have Jailton Almeida, who's kind of on the outside,
man.
Outside looking in, right? And then you'll have him, Aspinall, and Pavlovich, and then Cyril Gane still should be up there. I just don't know, I don't know where he stands as of right now. John Jones had an interesting tweet about the heavyweights and the young heavyweights. Then he deleted them in typical John Jones, Conor McGregor fashion. That they're the kings of that. It's always a good time when they're tweeting because you're going to miss it.
Do they not realize though that everybody just screenshots them and just holds on to them now?
Like 2 seconds right after.
Whatever.
That's probably the top guys, and I think Aspinall could give John Jones some problems with his hand speed. I think he's not like Cyril Gane, where his hands aren't that great, and he doesn't go for it. Aspinall goes for it quick, man. He makes quick work of most guys. So him, Pavlovich, I don't know, man. I mean, if John hangs around long enough, somebody's gonna, give him an L, right?
I don't think he's
not,
going to, though.
Right. He's probably. Do you think he's done after Stipe?
Yes. He knows. Listen, he knows what's coming with these guys. These Pavlovich, Aspinall, Almeida on the horizon. He doesn't want nothing to do with this, and he's a smart guy. He's not an idiot. He's going to get out of here before he has to get truly tested at heavyweight. He'll be able to go and say, "Look, I beat Gon." Like you said that tweet, oh, he was the man before, but everybody really knew what was. I mean, I did. It was that guy has no wrestling, and Stipe is 40, so. Really, if you were going to truly test yourself at heavyweight against one of these young killers, then I think that would hold more weight when we look back on this years from now about him moving up in weight. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. He still did it. He went up. He won the championship, and that will always be on his resume, be a part of his legacy. It just it's a shame because I think there could be some fun fights here. Like I just don't. It's those three names we just named. Aspinall, I could see a way that he loses. It's just he kind of, I don't know. He just has that English. I guess I'm a big fader of the English fighters. Not a fader, I would say, just more of a non-believer because Aspinall just seems like a guy who hasn't truly been tested yet, and he's gonna get in there at some point against somebody who's gonna be able to push back a little bit. I mean, he is a unit of a guy though. Right there around the 265. I think he was right at 260. I think this past week. He's 6'5". He moves quick. His hands are fast. But he does hold his chin up in the air a little bit. And if he fights one of somebody like a Pavlovich, who is just that's going to be the quickest fight of all time. I think the first person to get hit is just going to go to sleep. I guess that's what's exciting to me. Not so much this John Jones and Stipe fight because I think both retire after it, and it leads the heavyweight division in kind of a up for grabs kind of thing. But that's going to open it up for an Aspinall, Pavlovich, and Almeida, or one of those other guys.
I could see him beating Pavlovich by using his wrestling and kind of just doing what Overeem did to him a while ago. Aspinall will be tough, man, because he's good with his hands, and he's got a pretty good ground game too. Kind of like Almeida. Almeida's just like a power. He's just all power, brute strength, force of nature is what he is. And he's fighting somebody soon, right?
Blades.
I just forget who. Yeah, Curtis Blades. So that'll be. I mean, also I think Volkov and Spivak, or is it Gon? Doesn't Gon have a fight? He's at France, right? He's fighting Sergey Spivak, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And then you have Derek Lewis. He's going to get sentenced to retirement, I think, this weekend too. But I think there's some decent heavyweight prospects. Other than that, though, I guess it's kind of hard to see who else there is outside of those top three. Maybe Mick Parkin.
Yeah, that's going to take a little bit. And like you said, Gon's there. You're gonna have to take him out to really he's still at number 2. He worked his way up there, so he's earned his spot. But there are some. I mean, even like you said, Spivak. Although he's not really not super exciting when you look on from the outside in, but he's put a little bit of a run together here, and he's kind of dominated some of these guys he's fought, and he's a massive man. So it's. Heavyweight, like you said, it's kind of gotten a little bit more exciting as of recent than it has in the past. So, I'm excited. I get, like we said, I think Aspinall should not be jumping these Pavlovich and even Almeida. He's not there yet. I guess he's already ahead of him. So Almeida's going to need to do something big against Curtis Blades. Maybe just finish him, and I think he'll be good because you could argue, look. Almeida finished Blades, and Aspinall lost the Blades, although freak injury, but still. A win against Tybura, who was number 10, shouldn't get you a title shot straight away if all things were fair. But I guess that's a conversation to be had. I mean, this is kind of everything's going to be in a holding pattern now until November, right? Is that when the John Jones fight is? I think so. September, October, November. One of those fall months. was when this fight. You can tell how excited I am for it. I don't even know when the fuck it is, but not that I'm not excited for it. It's just like doesn't have the same pop it did 3 years ago. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, what's Steve been doing these last couple of years? Putting out fires.
Yeah,
So,
and maybe he's training and everything, but your body at some point just says, like. And the last time we saw him, he was getting his head obliterated through the canvas. So it's kind of hard for me to be excited about you getting a title shot against the consensus greatest of all time. So
yeah.
I'm not going to get all that excited about that. But great win for Aspinall. He did look good. I don't want to take that away from him. And I guess for Tybura, he just kind of goes back to where he was and just kind of hangs out in that co-main event spot where he's going to be fighting a Volkov or Jorginho or, like one of those ranked heavyweights that kind of just...
Greg Hardy.
Yeah. No. Greg Hardy. Who knows? What is Greg Hardy doing these days?
He's at Walmart.
He is, and he's also fighting in team events for boxing, so that's something to consider. But how about Julia GSP Stoliarenko getting another, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, armbar submission, this time over Meatball, I almost said something disrespectful, Meatball Molly McCann. Listen, I want to apologize personally. I thought Molly McCann at least would be able to comport herself with a little bit of dignity and class and somewhat understand that of her 10 fucking wins in mixed martial arts in her career, all 10 submissions have been arm bars. Like, what else is there to say? Like, you avoid the arm bar. Keep your arms close. I don't think that's that hard. But, I'm just a guy, and I see a lot of people, she rolled over to the top and it's dumb, and then other jiu-jitsu people are like, wow, you don't understand the game. Go roll. Listen, either way, she was screwed, okay? She tried to get her hands wrapped up, and, she almost was out of it, and then she was just kind of leaving her arm, I don't know, it seemed like a complete lack of awareness. She obviously had no takedown defense. She had no idea what this girl's whole game was, because she came out and tried to throw just a Mike Tyson hook to start the fight, and that didn't go well. So it was kind of, once she goes to the mat, it's kind of done. And you made mention of that before, that's why you took the submission, that it's just kind of, she got taken down, 7 times against, I forget, the...
Lara Procopio.
I was about to say Larissa Pacheco, but that, not the same person. Shout out.
A little bit bigger.
Shout out, though. But listen, man, Meatball Molly's now going to go down to 115. I don't think that's the problem. Tim Welch, we were just talking about that before, says that maybe she should try a jiu-jitsu class. I think she's trying. I don't want to be that disrespectful. I think she is somewhat training, but there's something missing here. I don't know if there's a lack of respect for the grappling element of this, but, we see this sometimes in fighters. They just are so one-dimensional and kind of just hone in on being the exciting, I don't know. I thought, in my dumb brain, that after you got fucking mollywopped by Aaron Blanchfield, that you'd be like, you know what, I need to improve this part of my game. I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to work on my, defensive wrestling, my defensive grappling, and kind of just try to, make some adjustments. That was 8 months ago. She looked worse in this fight than she did in the Aaron Blanchfield fight. Aaron Blanchfield took longer to take her out than Julia Stoliarenko did. So, yeah, move down. Maybe you'll have a better shot at muscling takedowns off you? I don't know, man. She's cooked. Never betting her again.
She's... I like the use of the mollywop.
Well,
that was good.
I didn't mean to do that, but it kind of just came out,
I see what you did. Who do you got in the fight between Molly McCann and Vanessa Demopoulos? It's a tough one.
I mean, Molly McCann probably be favored, right? I mean, she's at least got somewhat of at least more experience, but
Elise Reed, it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, these are all women that are just going to stand there and throw bombs, right? I don't know. Is Elise Reed a 15er?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Elise Reed might beat her.
She's what? She's 34, I think, 33. So, yeah, I mean, just not a great look. I mean, listen, they kind of gave this. I said how they kind of set her up with this chick who's 1-5 in the UFC, but she had like just a stylistic matchup that people were kind of underestimating. I mean, it was, it seems obvious enough, armbar or bust, but she's much bigger and way stronger than her. Like, she got that takedown easily and just kind of was just smothering her after that. And while it was standing, she was actually beating Molly for what it was worth. I mean, they didn't throw many strikes, but
Yeah.
while they were on the feet, she won every second of that fight. So
It wasn't close.
she got the takedown right to the back take, and then she transitioned to an armbar. It's funny, she almost, if Molly defended it well enough, she would have probably been on top. But she didn't know, like you said, she didn't really know what to do. And
She panicked too. That like you could just tell that as soon as the grappling became a part of this, she was just panicking. Like, I just don't understand it, because these last two girls she fought were complete specialists, and you should have been. I don't know what's wrong with the coaching, or if that's part of the issue, but they are just a complete lack of respect and preparation for these parts of the game and this element of mixed martial arts, because it is mixed martial arts.
well, when you train with Patty Pimblett and Chris Fishgold, that's
a recipe for disaster, some would say.
that's not.
But who am I, baby? Who am I? How about Nathaniel Wood? Kind of taking care of business against Andre Fili. This fight was what was the scorecards? I did not hear the scorecards. I was listening to a lot of this on mute, so I didn't get to see a lot of this. But I thought it was close. I thought it was 29-28, but
Yeah, I think that's what it was. All
it should be all three, right? Because I think
3 wins.
I think
he
Wood
won
won
first
1
and
and
third.
3. Yeah, that's what I had, and that was my
Pretty
instinct.
good fight, honestly.
I thought so too. Thought it was a close fight. I thought it was a good fight. Just Nathaniel Wood took care of business in that third round, and Fili looked good on his feet, and his hands were hurting him a little bit, but it just wasn't enough. Nathaniel Wood, like you said, though, he's used to fighting bigger guys, longer guys, and he was able to get in there and get his shots off. And those takedowns weren't really landing for Fili like he had in the was his last fight, which was one of the ones he was taking people down in, but.
Jourdain,
yeah. So, good win for Nathaniel Wood. I really don't have much to say. It was just it was a close fight, though. And did this win fight of the night? No.
No, I think
Danny Robertson then won fight of the night. I don't know about that, but
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know what. They're asleep at the wheel over here in London, I guess, but there wasn't much options. But how about Paul Craig, the Bear Jew, with an absolutely dominant ground and pound finish over Andre Muniz late in that second round. Andre Muniz, man. I made a tweet. This is one of the only tweets I had on Saturday, because I like to save a lot of my thoughts for this podcast, because otherwise then I just tweet everything out, and what's the point of listening to this? I mean, how many times am I going to fall for this? This guy is not that good. He really has no discernible skill that he has an advantage in, other than people who have no idea how to do jiu-jitsu, I guess, and maybe old men like Jacare that he can get his shit off on. Other than that, I mean, it just seems like he's hit an absolute brick wall after he fought Uriah Hall. And after that, it was just like nothing.
Uriah Hall retired, I believe, after that. Just like Jacare did.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it's just been downhill ever since. And he doesn't even look like it looks like a shell of himself after the first 3-4 minutes of the fight. And he didn't even really look that good on the feet. I thought he was going to have the advantage in the stand-up. And I mean, he made Paul Craig look like a world-class striker in there. So it really, Paul Craig, he looked good at 85, I will say. I thought he was going to be much more emaciated, I guess, and just kind of look like a shell of himself. But he really looked like, he looked like he put the weight back on fine. He didn't gas out, like he did. I mean, he got hit and he kind of took it very well compared to what he was doing at 205. So maybe he does find a home here at 85. I don't believe it yet, because I'm not a big, Andre Muniz has shown that he's really not at this upper echelon level of the 85 UFC division. So, but I mean, it's a good win. I mean a TKO, a plus 1,000, and above for Paul Craig.
Yeah, imagine having a play on that. Jeez.
Guy I was with did. I was like, "Are you kidding me, man?" Shout out Nelson. He pissed me off with that, but hey, good for him. He won money, so.
Yeah, we did not.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, Muniz, I think, has now been exposed. Paul Craig's about to make his run, man. I think he can beat Adesanya. Honestly, if he can take care of Bo Nickel, I think he can beat Izzy.
I just think at least he'll be able to beat some of these scrubs that are at 85.
Do you think he gives Bo Nickel a fight?
Not at all.
Really?
Bo Nickel will knock him out standing up, and he'll fall. I mean, he's ranked now, which is crazy. He's number 14.
That is funny.
So, I don't know what's next for him. You're gonna fight like Brendan Allen or Hermanson or something like that, like somebody who doesn't have that great of hands.
Hermanson would probably be a good option for him if he fought
Brunson.
Brendan Allen. If he fought Brendan Allen, he'd get smoked. Brunson fights Dolidze.
Okay.
Maybe he fights the loser of that.
Vittori?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you give Vittori.
Chris Curtis? No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, could care less.
Pereira?
Who, Alex? Oh, man. Wouldn't that be fun? Let's just do it.
I guess.
Let's just do it. Have them meet at 195 for the first ever 195 championship belt and just run it, baby. But in all seriousness, Paul Craig, I don't know, man. I guess this for me was more about Muniz just looking not even, I don't know, respectable. I just some of these people I didn't understand their strategy or their game plan. I have to stop thinking that these people are high level IQ fighters. A lot of them, or that their camps are putting together good game plans, or that these guys are going to have this advantage over this guy. No, I need to just stop thinking like that and just kind of play the numbers and just do it that way. And that's what I got from this one. But how about Faraz Zaim with a unanimous decision victory over the Black Country banger, Jai Herbert? This fight didn't really do much for me. Zaim was the better fighter, the more technical fighter. He got hit a couple times, but nothing really. It was never close to getting that inside the distance that we were hoping for. But it was a good win for Zaim.
Yeah, Herbert kind of just kept going to the body and the legs. He wasn't going to the head. So hard to win fights when you're landing 13% of your shots to the head. So
yeah, and it just seemed like he was not on the technical level of Zaim, and Zaim didn't really have the power to get him out of there. So I wonder what's going to happen to him here at 55. I think he's going to run into a roadblock that's going to be biblical that night when he gets put down and put to sleep. But we're going to have to wait a little bit for that, I guess. But Lerone Murphy, he not really dominant. I think he get dropped very early on in this fight, or at least wobbled or backed up or caught off balance, something. But he kind of it seems like he just puts a pace on people and just kind of wills his way to victory in some aspects of these fights. And he was pushing the takedowns, and he just kind of willed his way to victory here. What was the scorecards? Do you have that readily available?
I think 130-27, 230-26. I'm guessing for the third. Was it the third round where he knocked him down? With that, he kicked him in the.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Grazed
the grazing liver shot. Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, I bet that fucking hurt too.
I'm sure it did. It looked when it first happened. I was like, wait, what was what? I thought he hurt his knee or was grabbing his arm or something. And I was
the way he laid down was weird, but
goes to show you that's all it takes, man.
Yeah, I can't say I would walk through that kind of shot. But third round, he pretty much put it on him, had a couple takedowns. I think he had 8 total minutes of control. He had 7.5. So good all-around dominant performance, yeah. David Letheby was the only one who didn't give him a 30-26. So there you have it.
There you go. Daniel Marcos, that was the main card, ladies and gentlemen. We are now moving on to the prelim part of the discussion. But Daniel Marcos wins a split decision over Davey Grant. This was a close one. I thought Daniel Marcos did enough to win, but did you agree?
At first I didn't. I haven't gone back
I haven't watched
and
it again,
rewatched
but
it.
I was rooting also. So
Yeah, I thought there was a chance that David Grant could have got all 3 rounds, but they were all kind of close, especially the first. So I mean, I guess I could have saw it either way, but just watching it live, I did see why a lot of people um, thought David Grant won. I thought he was just doing better and just landing the better, just more shots. Um, He did get taken down in the 3rd round, but it wasn't. I think he didn't get held down for long. So yeah, I was honestly surprised it didn't go his way, just because it was in London. But a lot of people called this a robbery on the X, if you want to call it, not Twitter anymore.
Jesus.
But yeah, again, I have to go back and rewatch. I was kind of in and out of this fight, doing some things in the crib.
Yeah, this was a
But,
go get a beverage one for me, and kind of like not that I was like not that it was, nothing against this card, but I had to get up. I couldn't just sit there for 7 hours and just sit here.
that was
watching the
brutal.
card.
Yeah,
I
it was
needed
tough.
a break. Like so I'll have to really. I was watching, but I wasn't like watching like I was some of these other ones. And sorry, Daniel. I just I had to do what I had to do, but I didn't think. From watching with one eye that this was a robbery on either side. I thought either person could have won, and it just happened to be Daniel Marcos. And they were both like putting their hands up, and I think it was Goddard was getting pissed and like pulling their hands down, and there's a lot of nonsense going on. But
No nonsense, Mark Goddard.
yeah, put your hands down. But Johnny Parsons, your boy, he took some shots here in this one, man. And but Danny Hot Chocolate Roberts had about 5 minutes in him before he was absolute tostado, and he was just emptying the tank as soon as he would even land a couple shots. I mean, he was throwing some heat, but really nothing with any technical straight shots, or it was all looping bombs and just all energy using shots that came back to bite him later on because Parsons started to put it on him, and his defense was radically fading. And Johnny Parsons, you said, a Muay Thai coach, and he looked like he knew what he was doing. He just kept putting it on him, putting those shots on him, and eventually got Danny Roberts out of there.
Yeah, bad bet on my part. I mean, he got knocked down twice last fight. I mean, his chin's just gone. He's not young.
The concussions didn't
fight.
affect Mr. Parsons like we had thought.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't really getting hit too cleanly. A lot was getting partially blocked, and Danny Roberts just, as soon as he got hurt, he was like, let me just fight even more wild and crazy. And the very end of the round, I don't even know. It kind of happened so quickly. I was not expecting that. I thought we were going to get a 3rd round, but there he goes, off into the sunset.
There he goes, and hopefully he's on the roster watch page soon, so that I don't have to watch that nonsense ever again, but or be tricked into betting him. It's more my fault. But how about Joel Alvarez? Took care of business for us finally. We've been a big fan of El Fenomeno for quite some time, and he just kind of put it on Jacasey in this one, and he was working for that Darce, and he eventually locked it in. Jacasey is a story they're going to talk about years from now, where a guy who had like a good amount of potential, and like he had really had a lot of different skills that he could use. It just never really able to put it together, it seems, and he just gets kind of worked over by Joel Alvarez. So a good win.
I believe he came out wearing the double knee pads, right? It's never a good sign. When you see a guy coming out in double knee pads, you're like, oh, fuck. But I think there was an eye poke that the ref missed in this fight that kind of led to the beginning of the end of the fight, if I remember correctly. Who was the ref? Daniel Movahedi.
There you go.
Guy. I think he missed an eye poke that kind of affected Jacasey, and then he got Darced right after that. But it just, Alvarez is a lot bigger, more powerful, had more to go to in his arsenal. He was it was pretty competitive on the feet, honestly, for a little bit. I think Alvarez was hitting him harder and more frequently, and the better kicks and whatnot. He was just he looked so much bigger than him. It was kind of crazy, but yeah, our Spaniard boy. He actually also defended a takedown, so now he has he doesn't have a 0% takedown defense in the UFC anymore. So
Alvarez also,
I think it's
like,
11 now.
There you go. Alvarez also just has no interest in doing any sort of defensive anything. He just is all about offense and trying to go for the kill and go for the finish, which I respect, but it's not necessarily the greatest strategy when it comes to longevity and winning in MMA. It's done. He's done well for himself though. He's 20-3 now, so who am I to take away from him? But it just seems like it's really kill or be killed, and it's good to bet because I love betting it inside the distance when he's in there. But how about your boy Mick Parkin? Mick, we didn't know much about coming into this. He was a big gentleman. Learned that about him. I learned that he's got pretty good boxing, and his cardio held up somewhat. So Jamal Pogues, you were saying for a while the Stormtrooper was going to be on the Mount Rushmore of MMA. I don't know if that's going to happen anymore. I understand how upset you probably are, but this fight was kind of boring as well. This was just kind of back and forth snooze fest.
Yeah, you akin Pogues boxing to a young Mike Tyson. He couldn't really hit. He was swinging an air on Saturday evening, that's for sure. I think he was getting his legs chipped up, and then that was pretty much it. He couldn't move. He wasn't throwing. A pretty low level fight. I mean, honestly, yeah, I'm good with seeing him get a nice little developmental deal in the CFFC. But
who, Mick?
No, Jamal Pogues.
Oh, no, yeah. I mean, this one should not have been this high up on the card. It should have been the first fight of the night. Yeah, if anything. I mean, it really shouldn't have been on the card, but, what are you going to do? I just realized I'm 30 feet away from the microphone, so probably nobody heard that. But Mahmoud Muradov with a dominant unanimous decision victory over Brian Barberena. Barberena looked exactly how we thought he was going to look physique-wise. Not exactly a lot of muscle put on, just kind of a little bit more blubber. And, he really, he put up a fight. He didn't just roll over and die in this, but, Muradov isn't that big for 85, I would say. Would you agree? I mean, it just didn't seem like he had that much of a stature advantage over Barberena, but it didn't really matter. He just, Barberena's really not on the level of some of these guys.
Not much cardio either. He kind of gassed out after the second in the second. How many? 13 takedowns. That's impressive. I like that. 13 and 16. He didn't have much time of control. But whenever he needed to, mix it up, he was able to. Because Barberena walked him down like the whole time. Not that it matters for anything, because he was getting clipped and chipped every time he came in, so it didn't really matter. Then he got knocked down. Once in the second, once in the third. He got hit with a check left hook, a check right hook.
Couldn't get that
straight right
inside the distance, man.
I know. It was brutal. He had a little bit more cardio, or he, went for it a little bit harder. I think he could have, but Barberena's got an iron chin, man. I think he's definitely going to get put out one day, especially if he fights at middleweight, because those guys up there are just so much bigger. But as for now, he is safe.
Brian Barberena versus Andre Muniz. Who wins?
Muniz. He takes him down for a while and probably subs him.
Okay. Well, there you go, Muniz. If you need a win, lock that one in. Call Sean
Barberena
Shelby.
and Bo Nickel. Who wins?
Bo Nickel.
Barberena.
Bo Nickel however he wants. That's the unfortunate part about this for Mr. Barberena. It seems like he's in a tough spot here in the UFC. A guy who seems like he's 40, but he's only in his early 30s. Who really doesn't have any discernible skill or plus skill for him to, use against other people, other than, like you said, his chin and his will, and that's just not going to get you that far. It'll get you places, but it won't get you that far. How about Ketlin Vieira doing exactly what we wanted her to do and we thought she could do, but she did it against Pannie Kianzad. Unanimous decision victory. Really not that exciting. Really kind of boring, but a win is a win.
Yeah, she got, I think, one takedown in each round, and that won her pretty much. I guess not every round. She did lose the, I don't know what round it was. I think the second, maybe? The third. She did lose the third, because I think she gassed out a little bit too. But yeah, I was wondering how she'd work her wrestling into this, if she'd be able to do it as easily as I thought. She She was. She got it. She was close to a couple submissions, rear naked chokes, had the back for a little bit, but wasn't able to get it done. But she did get the win, so back to her winning ways she goes.
And that is that. Chris Duncan takes out the Red Fox. A lot of your discussion on the Red Fox was true. He's not that good. He's not. He wasn't. I think the size advantage that Chris Duncan had played a factor as well, but he just didn't really. There was nothing the Red Fox could do to Chris Duncan to get him out of there, and wasn't going to be able to take him down. It seems like honestly he's at the wrong weight class. I don't know if he has more weight to cut to go to 45 or if he needs to change. It just seems like he is going to be fighting an uphill battle at 55 here in the UFC.
Yeah, Chris Duncan's big, but he's not even one of the bigger guys at 55. And he, 5'9", 68-inch reach. That should probably be at 145, like you said. I think he got his left arm kicked half to death by the second round. So he pretty much had one hand to throw punches the whole fight. So he was pretty much up against it no matter what. Chris Duncan got a couple takedowns. He was mixing it up pretty well. He's a pretty entertaining fighter. I can't wait to see who he gets next fight. He could be matched up in a lot of bangers. He likes to really just let him bang.
Yeah, I like his game. I kind of held it against him after he got almost flatlined on the Contender Series, but
twice.
Yeah, he's he does have some skills, and he is like you said. Not that big, but he's a pretty big 55er. Especially compared to guys like Yanal. So it was a good win for him. Bruno Brazil takes out the Irish upstart, Sean O'Bannon. Listen, Sean O'Bannon, I got a word of advice. We need to work on those hands, all right? The kicks, they looked good. They did look good, all right? Those were kind of nice. She was firing off those leg kicks, and she did some stuff that was okay, but it just, you need a full game if you're going to be in the MMA, or in the UFC, I should say. And, shout out to Bruno Brazil.
Yeah, other than that, she just, pretty much... She has good size. Her and Bruno Brazil are pretty much the same size, but she got taken down a couple times. Her cardio looked kind of fine, honestly.
Yeah, no, she didn't look horrible. I was expecting, I guess because my expectations were so low that I was like, wow, she's actually not as bad as I thought she was going to be, but still not
she
good.
She definitely needs to work on her boxing.
Yeah.
I think her striking is very sloppy, but she won a round on two judges' scorecards, so at least she didn't make, look awful. I think Bruno Brazil is just kind of an average kickboxer. She hits hard, swings hard, but I don't think she really has much of a ceiling. But, yeah.
Yeah, I just would have liked to see better hands, more not standing still, but kind of plant your feet every once in a while and stop trying to just run forward and throw those Juliana Pena punches. It's just not that's not a good recipe for success. How about Filho, your boy? Took out your other boy, Daniel Barres. Arm triangle. 3 minutes into the first round. Really was not that. I did not even expect it. I had the submission. Never expected it to look that kind of easy, and he really did make it look easy. What can you say?
Yeah, he got off to a brutal start. He got dropped twice, I think, with body kicks. And then as soon as he was able to grab a hold of Barres, took him down easily, just got him right quick. He cinched up the arm triangle from the other side and just jumped to the other side so effortlessly.
Yeah, the grappling looked so easy for him. We just got to work on those on that durability, I guess.
Yeah, just don't strike for long, but brutal, quick. Quick tap, quick. Position, just getting mount like a snap of a finger. I was watching. I'm like, all right, let's work our way up. Oh fuck, it's over. Like in the span of 2 seconds. So, that was pretty special, honestly.
Yeah, but I don't know if he'll be able to do that against all competitors and all comers. So, but hey, that was UFC London. Tom Aspinall gets $50,000 for a performance that night. That's probably well deserved. Paul Craig He gets $50,000 for his domination of Andre Muniz. And fight of the night was Danny Roberts and Johnny Parsons. I don't know. I mean, that just kind of shows you what we were really looking at here, as opposed to in regards to fight of the night, there really wasn't many options. If that's the one they went to, I would probably. I mean, I thought Nathaniel Wood and Feely was a better fight than this, but
Yeah, they knocked each other down.
Yeah, it went the full distance. I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't leave that Danny Roberts fight thinking, "Wow, well, what a fucking battle that was." It was just kind of like, "Oh, okay, that's over." So that's that for UFC London. That was kind of really all that happened this weekend. Other than there was a little bit of boxing. I saw Kambosos fight. He kind of. I saw the guy on TV had him losing 6 rounds. Or losing a lot by a lot. It was like 117, 111.
Yeah, he had scorecards go in his favor. I think there was a 114, 114, a 115, 113, and 117, 111. Everyone was saying that he probably lost, honestly, to Maxie Hughes. But when you're the A side, and this happens in boxing all the time, you get the decision. That's just kind of how it is. So,
I thought he was losing too, but it was close. I thought it was close.
Yeah,
and like you said,
it's a fight.
Benefit of the doubt goes to the guy.
What was I going to say? Yeah, he was like a big favorite. So I'm not surprised because I think he's kind of average. I mean, I know he beat Teofimo, but that was Teofimo's worst day ever. They run that back, he gets absolutely smoked by Teofimo. So yeah, there was that, and then we had a little boxing this morning, 8 a.m. I was up watching it, and it was just not even close. Nia the Monster Inoue destroys Stephen Fulton in Japan. The crowd was giving Stephen Fulton a standing ovation as he left the ring, which is awesome. I mean, the Japanese fans are awesome. I don't know if you've ever seen a KBO baseball game, but they are electric. They get turned up. I just saw a walk-off the other day. A former disgraced closer from the MLB, Roberto Ozuna, gave up a walk-off home run, and the crowd went absolutely apeshit. It was pretty awesome to watch. So Japan is on the bucket list for sure. I would love to go to Tokyo one day. But, 8 rounds. I think it was like the middle of the 8th. He hit him with a body shot and then a straight right. And then a left hook that sent him down. He got up, but he didn't stay up for long. So, yeah, I mean, shout out to him for moving down and Inoue moving up. But I mean, he's just a special talent. Probably one of the best, if not the best, boxer in the world. He's probably in everybody's pound for pound top 3 with Usyk and Spence or Crawford, whoever you prefer. Especially after this Saturday, I think the winner of that's probably the pound for pound number 1. But man, he's right there too. He's probably ahead of Usyk because Usyk's not really fighting. So, and Canelo, hasn't looked
kind of fallen off a little bit, yeah,
in the last couple of years. So yeah, I think he's probably getting. I think Carlos Tapalas next. He came into the ring, and they had like a little, pretty much agreement to fight next. He's from, I think he's from the Philippines. So. I think he's like 36-3, if I remember correctly. I don't think he's going to win at all. He's probably there's not anybody that can really beat Inoue. Like I just
like skill for skill. I know, like it's just so much power for a little guy, man. Like
Marlon Tapalas, not Carlos. My bad.
No, you're good. Just so much tech. Like I did get to see a little bit of this today. I woke up to watch this, and he just you kind of tell right away, like, oh boy, this it always tends to the guy going up. It seems like it always leads, especially in boxing, that guy does better than the guy maybe moving down and cutting the extra little bit of weight that he has to. I don't know. That's maybe my opinion, but
yeah, and he's probably going to be fighting a smaller guy in Tapalas next. Tapalas had his last fight was an upset over Muradon Akhmadaliev. So he's next up at 122, and then I don't know if Inoue can go up to 126, but I could see. I mean, his power carries up to 122. I don't see why he doesn't at least test his
test his hand at 126. That's where things start to get interesting. The guy that fought in the co-main of this fight, my guy, Robesi Ramirez from Cuba, El Tlen, he beat Satoshi Shimizu and knocked him out in 5 rounds. He walked all over this guy. After losing his pro debut, he has ripped off 12 straight dubs, 13, I should say. So I think that could be a possible matchup in the future. I think that's kind of why they put him in the co-main. So that would be really good, man. Robesi he's tough, man. Once you start moving up, that would be his 5th weight class. If you want a belt in 126, would be insane. I mean, he's kind of like the modern day Manny Pacquiao, just a little bit smaller. He's not on the steroids that Manny was on. So
whoa, come on, show some respect.
Yeah, well,
no thanks.
When he tore his labrum and came back in like 2 months, I was like, it seems a little fishy. He's like, yeah, I was swimming in the salt water of the coast. I was like, sure, I'm sure that's what did it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about it anyway. His power, his combination of power and speed is pretty much unmatched. I saw a lot of people on our timelines discrediting him in this build-up to this fight. And I was like, oh, man, that's tough. I know he hasn't really beat anybody, but there's not really anybody to beat. And whoever he fought Nonino Donaire, kind of in his prime, kind of not. And he beat him, and then he fought him again and absolutely stepped on him in the second round. So he's pretty much treating everybody with the same result, I guess, as all of them.
Well, that was this weekend's action, plus Tuesday's action. We have a UFC pay-per-view this upcoming weekend that we will have to do a show about. We might have to do it on Thursday because I do have a little bit of I am going to a concert on Friday night. Shout out to Luke Combs. I don't know really anything about country or anything, but the ticket was purchased for me. So I was like, all right, I'll go. I still have to pay for it, but I just didn't agree to it. That's a whole ordeal. But I am going. So we will probably have a show out on Thursday, barring any sort of setback or any sort of problems. But we will have a full breakdown of the Poirier-Gaethje BMF title fight. And then they have a co-main that's not a title fight, but should be, between Jan Blachowicz and Alex Pereira. So, this is a card with a lot of, interesting names on there. We will give a full breakdown. This has got to be one of our quicker pods here, Ty. This was just not much to really say here about the old London card.
We're getting ready for this weekend. I mean, we got, at the same time, we're going to see AJ McKee and Patricky Pitbull with Spence Crawford and Dustin and Justin running it back 5.5 years later after their first fight. It's going to be it's all pretty much culminating at the same time. Showtime, UFC. I don't know what the boxing match is going to be on. I think PBC on Fox. There's going to be a lot of action. 3 pay-per-view events, I believe. I know you're going to be tuned into Bellator Rising 2.
Yeah.
The Saitama Super Arena.
Hell no. I will be watching the Poirier-Gaethje fight because that is the one that is the most exciting to me. But is that the McKee and Patricky? Is that
yeah?
What is that for? Is that like is part of the Grand Prix or something like that?
Yeah, the 155 Grand Prix. Yeah, he's gonna smoke Patricky. I mean, that's not even gonna be.
That's the lesser brother, right? It's not. Yeah, Patricio.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's hard to keep up with all the pit bulls, but.
There's a lot of pit bulls.
Danny Sabatello getting in there against Magomedov. I don't know what that's going to look like, but who really cares? Yep. I'm not going to be watching this, so I'll probably just look and see who wins after. But like you said, we have a lot. There's a lot of shit going on this upcoming weekend, so we will have a full discussion and breakdown of that coming up later on in the week. For now, this is us departing, ladies and gentlemen. This is the end of the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast for this episode. I feel like I just was acting like this is the end of the podcast, but no, this is not. We're never done. We're never done, ladies and gentlemen. Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast brought to you by the Hot Take Hot Box. My name is Matt McSweeney.
Hi, I'm Ty Capone. As always,
got nothing, do you? You got nothing. As always, make sure you change your sheets more than twice a month.
You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.